How are you all beautiful people? So today we want to talk crotch depth, trouser crotch depth, hmm? Trouser crotch depth. And okay, so today we want to talk about trouser crotch depth, right? It has come to my knowledge that crotch depth is really giving people problem, and I want us to talk about it. Now, crotch depth is this place. Crotch depth is from here to here. And honestly, if you do not get this place correct, which is this crotch depth, if you do not get it correct, this trouser will lose shape. Okay, so if you're able to get this place to be perfect, this crotch depth, if you're able to get from here to here to be perfect, your trouser will come out looking very nice. So I want to demystify this crotch issue today. Carry your chair and come nearer. Carry your chair, bring your chair closer. After today, if you do not plot a beautiful pant trouser, then you never attended my class. I've done a tutorial on trouser cutting, but I didn't lay emphasis on the crotch area, and people have kept asking that question for crotch. So today, I want us to tackle the whole issue concerning crotch depth totally. Okay, that after this one, go back and watch that my video, and you find out you'll be able to plot your trouser perfectly. Now, I want to talk about types of crotch. Do you know this cloth called overall for mechanic? You know that the crotch calculation is different. You know a fitted jumpsuit for a female. You know that the crotch calculation is different. Now, for a normal simple pant trouser or short knicker, you know that the crotch calculation is different. Because somebody will tell me, Mama, I calculated my crotch depth and it was 12. I used it. And you don't use that. If the trouser calculation for crotch is different from that of jumpsuit. Okay, let me handle just two. If you do not still understand, please put it on the comment section that you don't understand, and I will still go further to explain. Now, when calculating for jumpsuit, just calm down. Everything in life na jete by jete, small small. Don't rush. Now, when calculating for jumpsuit, forget about that you're making jumpsuit, a fitted jumpsuit. Forget about that you're making jumpsuit, right? Now, calculate your crotch for a normal pant trouser. For a normal trouser, a normal female trouser, calculate your crotch depth. Now, whatsoever you got from that calculation, add 2 inches or 3 inches. Don't add 4 inches, it will be too long and it will be looking very funny. That's why it will be looking like the person is wearing pampers. Okay, 3 inches is okay for jumpsuit. 2 inches is okay for jumpsuit. Do you understand? Whatever you calculate, if you want to make a jumpsuit, listen very well. If you want to make a jumpsuit for a female, whatever crotch calculation you got from normal trouser, okay, add 2 inches to it is okay. Add 3 inches to it is okay. Don't add 4. Don't add 1. Okay, now let's talk about how to calculate a crotch depth, because someone asked me, Mama, how can I calculate crotch depth for jumpsuit? That's what I'm saying. Don't say you are calculating for jumpsuit. There is a calculation for it, but that calculation has failed me, so I've stopped using it. Okay, I've stopped it. What I do is I calculate for normal trouser. If I know I calculate it as if I'm making a normal trouser, just female trouser, then I add 2 inches, max 3 inches to it, and I'm perfect, so that the person can sit down properly. If you don't add that 2 into 3 inches, the person can't sit down. For jumpsuit, it will be holding the person's neck. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's talk about this crotch depth for a normal pant trouser. For a normal trouser, female trouser. Now, I'm saying that the crotch area, this is what is called a crotch area. This distance from between here, the waist, and under of the person's bum bum. Okay, now I want to talk about how to calculate it. there are three ways of calculating your crotch depth. Now, it's either you tell your client, a client walks into your shop and say, Mama, I want to make trouser. Okay? Tell the person, and the person is wearing trouser. Tell the person to spread the person's leg. This is that my client. I will tell him to spread his leg, tell her to spread her leg. Now I will pass my tape from the back, the waist. You know how to calculate your waist. Your waist is 2 inches below your belly button. Okay, now place from the back, place that tape at the back, waist at the back, that's the waist. Turn it right under the person's bum bum to the front and place it on the waist. Whatever you got is the person's crotch, but divide it by 2. So let's assume you place from the back and you take it round to the front and you got 30. The person's crotch depth is 15. Put it from the back and turn it straight to the front and place it on the front waistline and you are getting 26. The person's crotch depth is 13. Whatever you got, divide it by 2. That's what it is. For plotting on pattern, that is what it is, 13. That means from here, which is the waist, to this place is 13 inches. Now remember that your trouser has band. Okay, remember that your trouser has band. Please, that band inclusive is the 13 inches. Some people forget and just calculate 13 inches and they forget this band. Later they will start putting the band and your trouser will be unnecessarily long. You'll be wondering what happened. From this band, if your band is 1 inch, just know that here is going to be 12 inches for a 13 inches crotch depth. If your band is 1 inch, just know that from here to here is 12 inches if your crotch depth is 13. If it is 15 and your band is 1 inch, just know that this side now is going to be 14 inches. Now I've shown you number 1 way of calculating your crotch depth. That is if your client came wearing trouser. Have you ever measured Muslim women that value their, not that anyway, it's just that they value their body. They come with a wrapper and probably most times they want to make trouser. How do you make it? That is where calculation or formula comes in. Okay, let me even finish with this one. Now, the second way of calculating your crotch depth is you tell your customer to stand. This is for a customer that wore trouser to your shop. You tell your customer to stand. You measure from here to here. It's called the out seam. Out seam is the length from the waist to the hemline of your trouser. Okay, that's out seam. Now you will now measure from this joint inside underneath the bum bum to the hemline, and this is called inseam. Okay, so when you do out seam minus inseam, you are going to get the crotch depth. Out seam minus inseam, that is what is called crotch depth. If you measure from here to here, you write it, and I got 20. I measure from here to here, and I measure from here to here, I got 20. That's my out seam measurement, right? Now I measure from here to here, that is called inseam measurement, and I got 15. So I'm going to be doing 20 minus 15 is 5. That means from this place to this place is 5 inches. So if my band is 1 inch, that means I have 4 inches left here. Okay, do not say from here to here is 5 inches, then later you start adding band. Your trouser will be unnecessarily looking funny and too long. The crotch will now be too long. Do you understand? Except if you are making a high waist trouser. Even though you are making a high waist trouser, know it that you will calculate your normal crotch, then add 2 inches or 1.5 inches to it. So now we are going by the fact that our crotch depth is 15, right? And this is our paper, okay, that we want to use and plot the trouser. Remember, I always used to tell you that there's a borderline. Okay, always place your borderline. So this borderline accommodates any allowance that is supposed to be up here, right? So now our crotch depth is 15. That means from here to here for our crotch line is 15, and I measure it. I've measured mine, and this is 15 inches, and I mark my 15 inches. This is called crotch depth. This is my crotch depth. Okay, this is my crotch depth. Now, for me to know where to place the crotch line is my hip divided by 4. Place your tape around this person, okay, and measure the hip area divided by 4. Let's assume that my hip is 40, then hip divided by 4 is 10 inches. I'm going to be marking 10 inches, and my 10 inches is here. Mark it on the waist. Still mark it on the crotch depth again. Then you use a ruler to square it out. Mark that hip measurement you got, that hip divided by 4. Mark it on the crotch depth. Mark it on the waistline. The only essence of this waistline is that when you now want to shapen out your trouser, that is when you now use the waist measurement. That's when you want to shapen it out. Do you understand? So sometimes when measuring, your customer comes looking funny. Some of them come wearing boo-boo. Just go ahead and measure. That's why in ready-to-wear business, there's a lot of things that we do not take into consideration. Because the truth of the matter is that when you make these clothes for people to buy, you might not be there to see the person that is buying. So there is a standard measurement for everything. Okay, I've told us about how to use standing measurement, right, for the crotch depth, and I've told us about how to use the outseam and the inseam, right? I did not tell us about the calculation. Now, when your client walks into your shop tying wrapper, wearing boo-boo gown, what do? That is where standard measurement comes into play, and most times it does not fail. Though there are some people with exceptional body structure, but if it's on a normal regular, it doesn't fail. And for you to get your crotch depth is your hip measurement, round hip divided by 4. Whatever you got is your crotch depth. So let's assume that your hip is 40, your crotch depth is 40 divided by 4, which is 10 inches. Now, if your client walked into your shop tying wrapper or wearing boo-boo, of course, sometimes a man might want to measure a woman. If the woman walked in wearing trouser, it's easy for you. But when the woman walks in wearing boo-boo or tying wrapper, what do? As a man, will you now start telling your clients to please raise up a wrapper because you want to measure waist and you want to measure hips? No, don't do that. All you need to do is measure the waist, measure the hip, and that is all. Put the tape around the hip area, measure it, and that is all. Now, for you to determine where to put your hip measurement, your hip line, this is crotch depth, right? Crotch line, this is crotch line, right? Okay, from here to here is the crotch depth, but this is the crotch line. Okay, so for you to determine the hip line is this crotch depth which you got 10 inches divided by 4. Whatever you got, that is where you are going to mark it here. I got 2.5 in mine, so I'm marking 2.5 here, and I'm marking it here. So this 2.5 that I've marked now is now my hip line. Do you understand? And I need this my hip line to be able to create my crotch extension. This thing that is called crotch extension is very key because that is the seat of the crotch. If you don't put enough, the trouser will be tight. If you put more than enough, the trouser will be looking like a baggy. That's why I say crotch is the heart of a trouser. Let me just put it like this. The trouser crotch is the heart of the trouser. Whatever mistake you make on the crotch has disfigured the whole of the trouser. So you have to be very, very careful when using this. More especially when you are making a fitted pant trouser. Okay, and that is why I advise people use stretchy crepe material so that by the time you make it, if there's any mistake, it will definitely give room for balance. Now let's talk about the crotch extension. Now for us to use the crotch, whatever you got from here to here is what you are going to still apply from here to here. And I got 2.5, so I'm still marking that 2.5 here. That's my crotch extension. Then to help me curve out this extension very well, because we can't go with this 4-corner one, we need to make it a curve. You place from the front line, you place 1 inch, okay, and that 1 inch will help you to cover. But if you are making a palazzo trouser or making a trouser that is not really fitted, just use your free hand to curve it out. Now on this waistline, now your waist, if your hips was 40, right, and your waist is 34, let's say 34 divided by 4 is 8.5. So you are going to now measure. Place your tape rule here. The head of the tape rule should be here. Measure backwards. Okay, so I place my tape rule from here and I measure backward and I got 8.5, and so I'm going to be curving out my 8.5 like so. Take it down to the hips. Okay, take it down to the hips. Then secondly, note the dart. You must have to put dart in your trouser. You can decide to make your dart leg invisible, or you can decide to place your dart leg. If you don't know how to do it, please watch. I like making data now, it dey burn, so I like reducing the length of my videos. That's why I always refer you back to a video that I already made. If I start explaining that here, the video will be long. So you just click on the description box and go to my other video where I made a complete trouser tutorial. And who said you cannot learn how to sew online? Who said so? Who said so? For all my viewers that have been watching me, if you don't know how to match machine, let me know in the comment section. I will make a video about how to match machine, both the industrial machine and the manual machine. There are beautiful videos online. Follow people. Learn to pay for courses. Pay for courses. Even if you are not paying for mine, pay for other people's course. That's how you grow. Even Vicky James pays for courses till tomorrow. People are paying for, so invest in yourself. The little time you have online, invest in yourself and everything will be fine. Okay, so the next thing you have to do is just include your thigh measurement. This is my thigh line. I want to assume that this is my thigh measurement. Then for the hemline, can you see? I told us I wanted to talk about only the trouser today, only the crotch today, and that's what I'm doing. You see, your trouser has formed. Okay, you just place it on the back pattern, bring down this leg by 0.5, trace it all the way up, divide this place. We already know how to do all that. I just wanted to talk about this crotch depth, and I hope I have tried. If there's anything I left out, please let me know in the comment section. But today, just know that you do not have to start telling your client, carry your wrapper up, make I measure your crotch, or make I measure your hip. You can determine the hip, you can determine the waist, you can determine your crotch depth without your client having to open his or her wrapper. May not be like saying another thing you dey find. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. From tomorrow I'll be setting a lot. If you have sent me your picture for illustration, don't worry, just relax yourself, turn on the notification button and wait for your tutorial. Thank you guys, and God bless us massively. Our hustle go pay.